Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. We're starting to move quite a lot on this. The last episode we basically got this rally tower frame on, and today we're going to start moving on to the wiring. I've done a little bit already. It was very, tedious inside work, so I'll show you what I've done, and then we're going to move the rectifier. And then we'll see what else we can do. If we can put the lights and the headlamp and the windshield on permanently. So, and let's see if we can get those done this episode. But yeah, come have a look here and I'll show you what I've done with the wiring. So this wiring is quite tight, to be honest with you. So what I've done with these cables that come from the right hand side of the handlebars, not quite right. I'm going to consider extending two of these so the plugs can sit inside. So this is on full lock at the moment, and then when you close it up, it kind of like, it doesn't quite touch your cables there, but it gets very close to touching the cable side. I don't know if that's the best action. So yeah, the other side turned out quite well. I managed to sneak these cables in the top here, just under the triple clamps. And when you put this down and you put the last little space inside there, then it's going to hold them down a little bit. And this one I managed to strap onto the chassis, and this is very neat on this side. So I'm pleasantly happy with the left hand side, but the right hand side still needs a bit of work. Then I'll put the toggle switches on. You can have a look there. So one of them will control the high and low beam. So basically, if you activate this, then both lights will come on together, and if you put it down, then the lights will work individually. So yeah, so that's what the point of this is. The rest is going to be maybe one for the roadbook, one for the GPS, and maybe for the power box, just to give it power. So yeah, we will start to look quite nice, but and then it's a hell of a mess on the inside here, but it's all quite nice and neat. The one problem is that this LED light for the turn signal indicator is just very, very tight. If you look over there, I'm just battled to get inside there. So I don't know, it's such small little cables. I don't know if I can change these or lengthen them, but I'd like to. So yeah, otherwise all's well down here. And then onto the rectifier. So we're now going to cut into the rectifier, and we're going to mount it just on the side over here. I think the two bolts are over there. Those are the two bolts for the rectifier. Going to run the cable back down here and through here. Might even run them over this side with the other cables. Yeah, we'll see. We'll find a space. It's quite a large gap here to run the cables. Run them on this clutch line maybe. So yeah, that's what we're going to do now. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so time to move the rectifier back, and yeah, you can follow through. There's the rectifier, and we're going to put it in those two holes over there. So we're going to cut here, move it, extend cables, rejoin. So there are 3 yellow wires. So I think I'm going to mark them because I don't know if they can move around. So let's give them some numbers. Eek. Okay, morning guys. Back on the build, and you can see here, here's the rectifier, and I've soldered 2 of them on so far, and I've got 2, 4, 6 to go, so it's 8 wires in total, 8 or 7, 5 to go, so it's 7 in total. So yeah, I'm going to get cracking. And then I'm going to install the lights today, and then just start the bike and make sure everything runs, lights work and all that. So that'll be this episode. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, so I've zoomed you in here a little bit. The rectifier used to sit in those 2 bolts over there, which is now got the bracket and part of the mount onto the frame, onto this new dog bone, and the 2 new bolts for the rectifier go in there. I can smell my soldering gun warming up. So this, I just put a little tag on there, but this we're going to mount onto the frame like that. Can you see? Yeah. So this is the side dog bone of the tower, and I'm just using that to hang it up. So it makes it easy to solder. So like I said, I've done 2 of these already, and you need to slide these buggers. I've got to go buy a heat gun because I didn't have one. Another tool to buy. Yeah, Ryan. Alright, I'll do one and then I won't show you all of them, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. There we go. I'm not a very good solderer, so please don't judge me. And I was thinking about it the other night. If I have an electrical fault at some stage during the race, I'm going to look at the soldering first. Okay, so that's another one done. Now we've got, I want to redo this one over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 left to go. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so I've done most of them now. I'm just going to do the last one while I'm busy doing it actually. So I've just turned it over and I've done that side, and do this side. I made sure that I put these covers on, not to hide my terrible soldering from you, but just in case I touch the iron onto one of them and it shrinks. I don't want to shrink in the wrong position. So yeah, that's the reason why I try and keep them all on approximately where they're meant to be. So this is the wire that I'm going to do here. It's white and blue. So I almost ran out of solder, so I was very lucky. So when you do this job, try and buy a brand new one of these, because you will use a whole one. Surprisingly a lot of solder. And also by the time that you're done doing 14 solders, I reckon you'll be quite good at it. I definitely know mine are looking way better than my first one. So they're looking all shiny like they're meant to look. So yeah. If you're watching this video and building your own, good luck, and I hope that you are good at soldering, because you need to be for 14 solders. Okay, all the cables are welded. I'm just going to put the rectifier in and just loosely bolt it in. There are 2 little washers that are supplied, so I'm going to use those on the top. So there you can see the rectifier has been relocated, and there all the cabling running down here. Obviously I'm going to neaten that up, make it look nice, and yeah, but that was quite a big job. It's at least a 2 hour 2 or 3 hour job. I'm running a 12 volt cable to the front of the bike. So essentially from the battery all the way to the bike, I went with 4mm red and black cables and these nice, quite heavy duty lugs. Those actually look quite decent now. So it's basically going to go on the same wiring as the GPS I wired the other day. So literally underneath here, follow these cables, and it's nice heat resistant cable, so go past radiator. So the ends of these cables are not live. Should have done this in the beginning, but I just want to tape them so that no short circuits or anything. What I want to see is the end of this cable. So I bought 2 meters of cable, so I wouldn't buy 1.5. So surprisingly you need a lot. So what I'm going to do is probably make one switch just power. So essentially, if that's up, then everything's got power from the battery. And if that's down, then no power. I'm not going to do a relay, I've decided. Cool. We have a heat gun. Done. So I found this plastic cord that I'm going to use to wrap around the wiring from the rectifier. Make it nice and neat, one loop all the way down here. So let's see how that goes. The only thing I can think of is, I don't know how this is going to hold up with the heat of this. So, yeah, I think I'm going to put a cable tie in there and trying to see if it will stay higher, but only one way to work it out. Hopefully we'll get this bike running and go for a ride and check it out towards the end of this video. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to. Okay, morning guys. I got some of the wiring done yesterday. Unfortunately the camera battery went dead, so I just cracked on and did some of it, but it would have been, I'll just show you exactly what I did. Yeah, it's starting to come together quite nicely, so come have a look here. So here are the positive and negative from the battery that's running hardwired from battery. I'm going to put a fuse in there at a later stage, so I'm going to probably leave the fuse around about here somewhere on the positive, and then what I did was I ran the positive straight into this switch over here. So this switch controls all the power coming to the front. Then I loop this over to these 2 switches. So essentially this controls these 2 switches, and this switch is for the high and low beams. So this one at the moment is a spare, but this one is powering the GPS and the power box, the Rally power box. So that's what I did yesterday without you guys. And then the the negative, I've just run through to these two items, and we've got little fuses here. So these came with the items. So these two fuses, one's for the power box and one's for the GPS. So those two are just wired directly to this negative cable. So I've done some joints and I've left a spare joint here. So that's for the spare one. So whatever we power next, we'll just crimp onto there. So I found a cool place for the the rally power box. It seems to work quite nicely here. There was a little loose hole. I initially mounted it here, but it was too tight against these front suspension. So I've relocated it here. I still haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do about this over here. It works at the moment, like I could ride the bike, but it's not what I want to do long term. So I think I'm going to have to possibly cut all of these here, join them and run them further into here. So yeah, that's possibly what we're going to have to do. I do have one concern, and that is these are the indicators or the flickers on the side, but this one item here, I haven't found a partner for it. It's way too congested inside here. I mean, come have a look. So I think the problem is this over here. So what I did was I put a loop in here for the GPS because it may go to the front at a later stage. So might have to undo that loop and put the loop a little bit lower. But there are so many cables inside here. It's like, you know, just trying to push them and shove them, and trying to be delicate with them as well, because you don't want like an electrical cable rub while you're riding. So yeah, we'll see. I think I may have to rethink this whole thing, how this works. But nothing, a bit of riding is not going to help. Yeah, I think that's about just this over here. The rest should fit inside there, but it's a lot of cables inside there. Right, we're going to start with some final assembly.
You just stand on the chair.
You just stand on the chair, okay. Whoa.